Today we're gonna look at some famous times tech companies have screwed over their customers in the pursuit of more money. Because who hasn't felt like they've been hosed at some point? First up, a company that's actually beloved by quite a few people, Nintendo. Although their business model of publishing quality first-party games that has kept them in better graces with many gamers than, say, EA, they've been the subject of plenty of criticism for going overboard when protecting their intellectual property. This could honestly be a whole video on its own, but we're gonna talk about a couple of their greatest hits. Back in 2020, Nintendo made headlines for sending a cease and desist letter to the organizers of a major Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament, alleging that they were using an unauthorized emulator to allow the tournament to take place. While it may seem to make sense that a major game publisher wouldn't want pirated copies of one of their Smash hits going around, the problem was that the tournament was only moved online that year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. This was a terrible look for Nintendo, as the organizers were trying to keep players socially distanced for safety reasons, and Nintendo had not, and still hasn't, provided any legal way for players to play Melee online on current hardware. Nintendo was, of course, within its rights to do this, but you'd think a company so concerned about piracy would try to make its own games more accessible for those who want to play them, and also allow greater exposure to folks who might be interested in buying them. This, however, often hasn't happened, with the company not only not offering authorized ways to play older titles, but also being very aggressive with going after fan projects that weren't made for profit, and even being heavy-handed with how they approached fan videos. In 2013, while other publishers generally didn't have much issue with game footage being posted to YouTube, Nintendo instead claimed ad revenue on Let's Play videos that featured their games, meaning none of that sweet YouTube money would go to the creators. Nintendo responded to that backlash by creating a controversial creators program that gave a cut of the proceeds to these players, but the up to 40% cut Nintendo was still taking led to yet more uproar until they finally axed the program in 2018. But people were left wondering why Nintendo hated the idea of free advertising so much. Let's step away from video games and talk about an anti-consumer tactic that was so intentionally confusing that it drew an official comparison to ancient epic poetry.
We'll tell you more right after we thank Delete Me for sponsoring this video. Your personal information might be sold online without you even knowing it. And you know what's even scarier? When someone buys your data via a data broker, they might also access information about your family. Because of that, Delete Me is now offering seamless protection for you and your loved ones with their family plans. Get personalized protection for each member, all under a centrally managed dashboard. Check out Delete Me at the link down below and safeguard your family's digital world today.
Amazon doesn't seem like a company that you'd immediately think of as anti-consumer, with the fast shipping and a reputation for low prices and a relatively permissive return policy. But the way it gets people to pay for that fast shipping has been undoubtedly shady. In 2023, the American Federal Trade Commission sued Amazon over its use of dark patterns, basically manipulative design tactics to deceive consumers into participating in Amazon Prime, which, as you probably know, is a subscription service where shoppers pay monthly or yearly for faster shipping and other perks, like Luna Cloud Gaming, Prime Music, watching Rings of Power with commercials. Although signing up for Prime isn't hard, trying to cancel a subscription or auto-renewal has been a very different story. According to the FTC, a user would have to go through 4 pages, 6 clicks, and 15 options to finally find the button to end their membership, unless you think this was just an innocuous case of poor design. The FTC also said Amazon internally called this process Iliad Flow, with the Iliad being an ancient epic poem about the Trojan War that's over 110,000 words long. This name is a key piece of evidence in the lawsuit that indicates Amazon made the cancellation process deliberately lengthy and confusing, a practice also referred to as roach motelling, since you can check in, but you can never leave. Apologies to the Eagles. Additionally, Amazon is also accused of pelting consumers with prompts to sign up for Prime while checking out on the site, but not clearly telling them that they were signing up for a recurring bill. Amazon has made things more straightforward since the initial accusations from the FTC, but it's not exactly like they can just tell the government, look, we fixed it, and get off scot-free. The lawsuit is still pending in court, with the FTC hoping to make an example out of Amazon. Finally, let's look at a company run by the kind of guy that everyone has some sort of opinion on, Elon Musk's Tesla. Like with Nintendo, there's arguably enough to do a full video here, but we're gonna focus on Tesla's full self-driving feature. Although FSD was somewhat controversial from the start due to the name, after all, a car doesn't actually fully self-drive, the bigger issue was the way Tesla was happy to take customers' money for the future without actually delivering on what was promised. Starting in 2016, hell of a year, Tesla started taking orders for FSD, even though the feature wasn't complete enough to be enabled at that time. However, consumers were led to believe that they'd be getting usable FSD sometime during the car's expected lifespan, especially as Tesla made the point to say that their vehicles were already capable of running FSD from a hardware standpoint, which turned out not to be completely true. Tesla drivers signed up for pre-orders partly because the company implied the price might go up in the future, and Elon Musk had made statements that FSD would be fully implemented within a few years. Unfortunately, Elon's track record of predictions surrounding FSD and Mars and, well, many things, have been dreadfully inaccurate, leading to accusations that he knowingly overpromised in order to sell more upgrades. Now, we're near the end of 2024, and shocker! FSD still isn't fully implemented, as the tech is still incapable of driving the car without the need for human intervention. Tesla's official documents even now append the word supervised and warn that the feature may not work as expected. But this isn't even the worst part, in our opinion. The cost of FSD rose as high as a whopping $15,000, but the company's baseline policy is not to allow owners to transfer that feature if they upgrade to a new Tesla, meaning that people have paid exorbitant sums for a feature that they've never been able to fully use, but officially have to say goodbye to that money if they want to upgrade to a newer model car. Now, to be fair, Tesla has offered opportunities to transfer FSD as special one-time amnesties, though in reality, they've had to do this multiple times, making FSD a little bit like the McRib of car technology. And the fact that Elon has called this program an amnesty makes it seem like Tesla is somehow doing customers a favor, even though they never really gave customers what those customers paid for? We're out of time. But is there an outrageous incident from a tech company that you'd like us to rant about? Let us know in the comments, and you might see it in a follow-up episode. And if you'd like to learn about features and tech products that you've paid for but may not even be able to use, go watch this video next.